Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy A06, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. Let's just get straight into it. Do need to cut my way into it. There we go. So we'll just slide out. So right here, obviously we can see the phone itself. There we go, it's booting up. And inside right here we have our charging cable and manual. And that's it. So tossing that to the side, let's start to talk about the device itself. And I'm going to begin with the display, as this is going to be the part that you're going to be spending the most amount of time looking at. So it would be important that it's good. So it's a 6.7-inch display, which you will be able to see it fully. LCD PLS display with pretty chunky bezels, to be completely honest. The bottom one right here is hefty for 2024, end of 2024, along with the top one being just a little bit too big. Additionally, it has no high refresh rate whatsoever, which is a massive L for a phone released this year. It supports an 83.8% screen to body ratio with a 262 pixels per inch, which puts it at a measly 720p resolution. So to be precise, 720 by 1600, which is pitifully low, again, for a phone released in 2024. Moving on into the internals, we are looking at a pretty decent battery size at 5000 milliamps. The device is on a lighter side with such a battery, but that is because the build of it around is primarily plastic. So we have plastic back and plastic frame. So therefore this battery doesn't have this much of a heft to the device as a phone with the same battery but glass and aluminum design. Now the battery, though it's 5000, it only supports 25 watts of charging speed, which is a typical Samsung shenanigans right here. Again, very slow charging speed, falling behind competition already quite severely, and they've been doing that even with their most premium devices like the Fold, at least from what I remember. My Fold 4, which I was using for about 2 years, also supported 25 watts of wired charging. And that is an $1,800 device, while competition is offering 120 watts of charging speed for half the price. Anyway, moving on, well, on the back we can talk about the cameras, and the main sensor right here, and the only one that you will be ever using, is the wide 50 megapixel f1.8 aperture sensor, which will let you record videos at 1080p up to 60 frames. That's the max it can offer. The second camera, it's a depth sensor, and I'm not even going to go into it because it's basically, for all intents and purposes, a sticker dogshit camera. Then at the front we have an 8 megapixel sensor f2.0 aperture, and it's not even specified what the recording this camera is capable of. Now most of this information that I'm getting, or all of it, is from gsmarena.com, which is a pretty solid place for all things kind of consider specifications related. Now, continuing on, the device inside has a Helio G85 processor with a couple options in terms of RAM and storage, and the base entry of it will come with 64 gigs of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. By all intents and purposes, do not ever get a 64 gigs of storage phone at 2024. It is just not enough to get you through. 128, I would say, it's the bare minimum you should be going for if you're planning to use any kind of applications and take photos with your device. So 64 is just there to kind of make the price seem lower on paper, but realistically, I don't think you should ever go for it. Now 128 gigs of storage also comes with 4 gigs of RAM, and then you have 128 gigs of storage with 6 gigs of RAM. And the storage that they offer is eMMC 5.1 storage type. So again, relatively slow compared to basically competition and other devices at I would say similar price. Now, anything else that I kind of missed out on? We do have fingerprint sensor on here. I do want to point that out, but that's about most of the things that there is worth mentioning about the device. It obviously has other things like surprisingly a SD tray right over here. So just pop that out, you can see that, which for Samsung that is a I would say rarity. There we go. Now if you're thinking you have an SD tray, I'm just gonna get a lower storage because it's cheaper, so 100 or 64 gigabyte. Don't. That is kind of like not gonna work like you think. Usually the storage will allow you to install or put like music, photos on there and stuff like that, but applications for the most part want to be installed on the internal storage of the device itself, not the SD card, which doesn't really solve the problem. Okay, so last thing that I want to mention is the price of this device, which is about $100. Now, I am a firm believer of spending a little bit more to get a significantly better device, and if you're interested in this kind of approach, I can give you a very solid choice, and that would be the CMF Phone 1. It's going to be about, what is it, like 700, what am I saying? About $180 at the moment, if you can find it like super, some kind of good offer, which I was checking out this device not too long ago, and that's basically what it was being offered for. In terms of my currency, which was listed for, it was about like 700 PLN. So it was insanely cheap for what the phone actually offers. And what it offers, this device doesn't even come close. For about 80 bucks, you get a phone that is closer to high-end devices than low-end like this one. This one is the basically low-end device, the kind of like an entry to smartphone. And because of that, there's a lot of things that are going to suffer in here. Number one would be the snappiness of the device. When you have these comparisons with like Apple is better, I mean, hell yeah, if you compare basically the base cheapest phone to an Apple, everything will seem better than this. It will seem sluggish, slow, choppy, and just not be as good. But if you compare it to other devices at the same price, or Apple to the same price device or range price, obviously the differences there start to be very hard to notice. And like I said, for a device like I was mentioning, the CMF Phone 1 being 180 bucks, the only thing that it sacrifices is build quality, but it's not like you're getting right here that as a benefit. So a CMF phone has a plastic build just like this one. The only benefit is the back, which is made out of plastic, can be replaced easily, which is held by screws which are visible to you, and you can just kind of pop them off. And you can also swap out the colors of it, as they offer several different colors, and they offer it for these kind of back covers for very affordable price. So it's not going to be like price gouging like Samsung would do with offering for instance replacement parts for like, you know, phone costs $100, but they will offer you $50 back replacement. That's just insane. I'm not going to be paying half the price of the phone just to replace a plastic that has cracked or something like that. When it comes to CMF Phone 1, these will come at below 10 bucks, I think. So yeah, very good price for replacing it and just having some kind of flair to it. And other than that, like I mentioned, that phone will offer you insanely better specifications with everything: cameras, display, battery, charging speed, processor, storage, and so on. So no comparison there. So like I said, firm believer of saving up maybe just a little bit more and picking up a better device, as in very low end category like this one right here, spending just a bit more gets you stupidly further with how good of a device you can get, which starts to kind of degrade or fall apart the higher you go. So after like mid-range devices, when you go to high-end, there is not much of a difference in terms of how much better device you get while you're spending twice, 3 times more. So just as an example, with the CMF Phone 1, again, comparing it to something like the Fold 4. Fold 4 costs $1,800, CMF Phone 1 below $200. You're not getting like 6 times better device. I could argue that you're barely getting twice a better device. The only gimmick, it folds. Outside of that, I don't think it's worth that much. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But in any case, that would basically sum up my look at this device. And to be completely fair, it is just a Samsung phone. Other than it being kind of underperforming in terms of specifications, it offers a solid software on here from Samsung running Android with a decent software support, which, okay, never mind, this one supports only 2-year major Android updates, so it kind of defeats the purpose, as you would pay more for Samsung because they offer 6 years. Not this one, apparently. But it comes with the newest Android being Android 14. Actually, I think that's also false because Android 15 is out now. So yeah, all in all, it's just a Samsung experience, but if you're looking for better value for your money, I recommend just saving up a bit more, getting something like I said, CMF Phone, which will be insanely better. And the benefit of it running way faster and feeling more snappy will be a great benefit to a daily usage of such a device. So with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.